What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 17 of my Total Warhammer 3 Ikit Claw Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, we did the quest battle for Storm Demon, acquiring the unique weapon for Ikit, and thus the +2 control for all of our provinces, meaning we can no longer use the rebellions for farming, but at the very least we can keep around these territories, which are going to be continuing to bring us 2 food per, which is pretty okay. It's like having a couple of extra black corn swamps, or whatever those buildings are called, the pasture building. Now, Ikit is near to LOUEN. It doesn't look like LOUEN is going to... actually, it kind of does. It's kind of unclear where he's facing. It doesn't seem like he's facing directly towards Quinnell. He's facing like this way. Nonetheless, here's what we'll do. We'll put Mutant in Quinnell just in case. I suppose Brienne might go here while LOUEN might move into March stance. But at the same time, we'll move Ikit right here. Let's say right here. 21, 27, 24, 31. Like that. And then we'll pop him into ambush. No guarantee that this will work, of course, but heck, it would be nice if it does. There we go. Maybe he'll go for Brienne, maybe he won't, but ultimately we have to go north anyway, so we might as well chance this. Actually, while we're at it, this is probably a good time to take the Ancient Cunning buff for Ikit. We got 2 points that we can put in here as well. Especially considering that we've got all of our red lines, we've got the basics of all of our magics, and none of this is super necessary right now. So it's a good time to start on the blue line, I think. Perfect. And then while we're at it, you two, you can get increased mobility, and you can get increased mobility as well. And yes, I'm once again aware that they don't stack, but I'd rather not have to, swap them around constantly. We also have a technology that we can go with, and that's got to be monstrous plans for that food capacity and food generation increase, plus it's only 1 turn. Good. Alright, so that part is fixed. Now we have to figure out what we do with this location. So last episode we were able to take Fort Saul, and I do imagine that we want to stay here for a couple of turns as... yeah, the garrison is going to need to take some time to heal up. I also noticed that there's no warp bomb from this, so despite the fact that we have the fort, we don't actually have the warp bomb, which is a little bit unfortunate. I do have to wonder what kind of cannons the defensive towers have. Occupied fortress, impregnable fort, yeah, it's kind of unclear, but I suppose we'll see. So in that light, what we'll do is we'll send Mr. Morphic here, let's say up here, and then either this guy attacks him, in which case I imagine he'll fail, or at least I hope so. In fact, let's just get you some points used up just in case. You have Poison Winds, and you're going to be carrying around a bunch of Plague Claw catapults. Actually, most of this is kind of useless to you, except engineering skill, or we could keep holding on to the points to get specimen collector and stuff. Honestly, if this guy's going to be a slave army anyway, he's probably going to be a good lord for us to use construction engineer on. And get that 15% construction cost reduction, especially as there will be some extremely expensive things at Skaven Blight that we'll have to build. 7k and 7k, and that's 7k with the reduction by 30% here. Yeah, you know what? That might be a good use of this. So, in that light, we'll keep holding on to this. We'll reach it next turn. We'll actually only need 3 points for this, but since we don't need the other points, we'll keep you like that. And then Charge Lock will stay here for at least a turn. We might as well level him up as well. You can have your engineering skill, so I could get Rally and then to stand or die. And then you two can continue moving through Blade Master, as that's where we were going through before. Perfect. Alrighty, these guys should act quite nicely tanky. And then Shife, you are coming here to retrofit these guys. So let's keep moving, yeah. You have movement, yes, yes. Route Marcher is what I was thinking of. Let's send you up here to Fort Saul. You can retrofit these armies and then delete yourself, or even move back and recruit more stuff. I don't remember, did we get you recruitment reduction in the blue line? Oh, we did not. You are disciplined. I'll have to think about that. Discipline is kind of, I mean, it's okay, but specifically for a Grey Seer, might mean that we actually don't want to waste points in the blue line, because we might want to keep you around. Ah. Alright, maybe somebody like Morphic here would actually be a good recruiter, especially if we're gonna pop him into weapons engineer, or construction engineer, combined with recruiter and stuff. And yeah, he's level 9, which is kind of a waste in that regard, but once again, if he's just gonna be a slave army that follows around other armies, I think it's a good use. Now we have Alaric here. He's going to attack Stone Mine Tower, which we don't particularly care for, but if we stay here, we may want to try to defend it. And I know I said last time that maybe we'll trade this away. And you know what? In fact, let's see how much it's worth. We will trade you Stone Mine Tower, because you're the only option. You will be giving us nothing here. And why is vassalage not an option? Huh. Interesting. Bounce offer 1,000 gold. You know what? That's kind of garbage. It's kind of garbage, and I'd rather try to defend it. Let's go for Warlock Master. And honestly, if we destroy this little army belonging to Alaric here, this faction will be basically destroyed next turn, yeah. They'll only have Kadrin here. Or Kadrin. Yeah, you know what? That's probably a good use of this. Alright, let's go. Lord Recruit. Gonna have to go with Warlock Master, because we need the Warp Lightning, as it's the best for defending. And let's go Weapons Master, because it's really the only choice. And let's get you whatever regiments of renown we can. Just out of curiosity. Ooh. Giants, Stone Trolls, and Black Orcs. Gotta move towards those. Disciples of the Maw not ready yet. We'll have to keep an eye on that. The one turn for that. Okay. You can get Ixtia's Triads and Wheels of Doom. Expensive, but only for a turn. And we can get some of our money back by deleting Infecticay after we colonize. Oh, wait. Yeah, there's a Defiled Blood Ground here. Harbinger of Disaster, I guess, is here. Yeah, at the Sunken Kernark. Which means we can't bother with this. They might die, as in Khorne might destroy them. So we'll leave them alone for now. You can go away. You're costing us about 1,000 gold per turn, and if you can't recruit stuff, or if you can't colonize, then there's no use for you. Let's now upgrade stuff here, including Stone Mine Tower, in the hopes that we can win against Alaric here. And do you want anything out of this? Can anything here help you? I guess you can use the Ruby Ring of Ruin, because I don't really care about losing that if we lose it. World's Edge Armor is also not bad for a basic unit, just for defenses. And let's see, Hand Weapon. I kind of don't want to give you a Warrior Bane, because I don't really want to lose it that much. I'd really rather keep it on one of our chieftains. Obsidian Amulet you don't need. I guess you can have the Sword of Swift Slaying. There you go. And there's no talismans or anything like that. I suppose we could swap you that Crown of Command that Morphic is using. Morphific. But he might, in theory, get attacked by Kadrin Halfhand here, so let's not risk it. Actually, yeah, no, let's not risk it. Let's not risk it. Alrighty. Okay, you're gonna defend, and now I believe we've done everything that needs to be done other than moving Mr. Ratmech around. Now, I was going to send Ratmech up north, potentially get another Undercity going up here somewhere. The other option would be to send him across the water to try to find Clan Pestilence. There might be a good territory here in the start to... Oh! Huh, no, Clan Pestilence is there. Oh, wow. Okay, so Clan Pestilence, unlikely to die. They're doing pretty good by the looks of this. I was thinking that maybe they were getting wrecked by the Cult of Sotek, but it looks like that's not the case right now. So you know what? In that light then, Ratmech, we're going to send you north. We're gonna send you north like we were planning to last episode, up here, to get more of your forts up, or forts, Undercities. Good. That's Ratmech, presuming he's moving right now, yes, and everybody's good, other than Chargelock, who's going to continue staying here until Fort Saul's ready to go. Well, let's do the buildings, or whatever buildings we need to do. Brion, I mean, we may, in theory, potentially trade it to Grom because he's taken Castle Carcassonne, but on the other hand, we may not, who knows. So we'll leave it as it is. Southern Grey Mountains, Karak Norn, yes, and that's it in terms of buildings. Alrighty. Well, that looks good to me, unless there's something else that we might be able to do. Let's check out diplomacy for a sec. Quick deal. Harbinger of Disaster wants peace, but honestly, if he's about to get killed by probably the Exiles, it's probably not going to be of any use to us. Bloody Hands I also don't particularly care about, because we're probably going to be fighting them shortly. Nobody here wants anything. Broken Axe nearly want a military alliance, and that looks like that's it. Alrighty. Let's go next turn. Let's hope for that LOUEN falls for our ambush here. Skip, skip, and end the turn. Come on, LOUEN. Now, we do have a lot of warp fuel that we can use, but I don't want to use it until our food situation's been a little bit better. Or has been fixed to some degree. Grom, what you want? You want us to join your war against Reikland? No, thank you. But we appreciate the offer. We'll do that ourselves when we feel like it. And he is indeed going to fail to spot Ikit's ambush. And this is probably going to be disgusting, as it's previously been absolutely disgusting when we managed to ambush these guys. That said, oh, LOUEN's on Bequist. Oh, that's unfortunate for you as well, buddy. Enjoy the Howling Warp Gale. I think we can go probably without the Menace below here, as we need to keep our food up. I mean, I guess we could do one, but honestly, considering it doesn't come up immediately, there's like a, I want to say 50-second cooldown, 45-second cooldown on it. The battle will probably be over by the time we can use it, so there's probably no need. Now, we will need to be careful about this pile of knights, because that's a lot of knights of the realm. So we'll need to put Ikit out in front of them. And by them, I mean our units. But the peasants are kind of irrelevant. Anyway, should be a fun time. Let's get to it. Cinematically, of course. Another, hopefully, devastating ambush for Ikit. Alright, let's take a quick look at this ambush here. Now, we didn't get the ideal map, mostly because there are a ton of trees in the way which would interfere with our units firing. We also had the option of deploying further away from the actual ambush point, though I believe in that situation the enemy would have tried to run off the map. And I figured we might as well take the risk and possibly suffer some damage from the giant pile of enemy knights here, and as long as we don't lose any actual full units, I think it'll be worth our time. Plus, it should be fun. This means, of course, not using the garrison, but we do have a decent amount of units to hold. Now, in terms of the deployment, quickly here, we have the Doombringers, our Warp Fire Throwers, over on the side here because they're our defensive unit, our tankiest, I suppose, a unit that isn't Ikit himself. Compared to the regular Warp Fire Throwers, they're tier 3 and they have another 2,000 HP on them, plus they have 42 melee defense. And they're quite nice. I wish we could have a few more units of Warp Fire Throwers this tanky. In addition to that, there's another Warp Fire Thrower here, and the goal of these two units is essentially going to be to go after the enemy infantry. Otherwise, pretty much everything is set up to try to obliterate the knights. Our 3 Warplock Jezzails are here to the back of the enemy. We have our Rattling Guns here and firing between our Warp Fire Throwers, who are once again going to function as our quote-unquote melee line, as if the knights charge, I really would prefer them not to hit our more valuable Rattling Guns, because it's easy to replace the tier 1 Warp Fire Throwers. And then we have our artillery over in the back here, and our single unit of Death Globe mortars somewhere behind our Rattling Guns right here. The Death Globes can help out with focusing the enemy infantry, who are in fairly large piles, but we're primarily going to ignore in favor of the knights. Anyway, that's about it. Let's get started. And let's start it off with slow motion, mostly because there's a lot of potential fire coming in, and I don't imagine this will last too long, so here we go. Ikit's going to start it off by getting his Doom Wheel firing, and he's going to try to immediately cast something, and here's the Warplock Jezzails. Looks like they're going to actually start by focusing the enemy field trebs, which is a little bit of a waste, to be perfectly frank, but, well, you know, you gotta let them get their first volley in there, because that's what they fire at. Can't give everybody orders immediately. And here come the Warp Fire Throwers, who are already in range of the Knights as well. They probably won't do anything crazy to the Knights, but we shall see. And I believe that's a Doom Rocket coming in as well. Probably will do a decent amount of damage, and there we go. This is not as devastating, perhaps, as it was towards the Wood Elves there, but it's still looking pretty good. Let's see, the Knights of the Lionhearted at half HP. Ikit's blocking a couple units here to try to prevent them from moving in. Looks like the Rattling Guns and the Jezzails have destroyed the Yeomen and the Field Trebs here, and... let's just see, we have 2 units that are trying to directly charge us that are not actually being focused, or at the very least, not being focused enough. And there we go, they do get hit even as they charge in, a decent amount of them drop, but they do make it towards our Rattling Guns. And ooh, that zap, oh man, that zap cannon did like a quarter of our HP in a single hit. Really gotta be careful with our own artillery pieces, I think that actually did more damage than the Knights charge. There's another unit of Knights charging in the background here, but we will be focusing them as best we can. Gonna move the Rattling Guns forward so that the Jezzails can destroy this unit, as that should be much quicker. Otherwise, it looks like the enemy infantry is in very bad shape, getting absolutely obliterated by our warp fire throwers, as well as those death globes, or death mortars, but to be fair, once again, we were never concerned about the infantry here in the first place. We've also got Ikit going after LOUEN here, who's at half HP. He was stopped in his tracks for a little while there with our use of the Howling Warp Gale, but now he's just getting distracted by Ikit while being fired on by our Rattling Guns and at least 1 unit of Jezzails all the way from back there. Otherwise, it looks like this unit of Knights of the Realm is dead with relatively little damage to our Rattling Guns. 6 units lost, and it's not a big deal. And yeah, I think the only unit that really got damaged was this Warp Fire Thrower, and I think it got clipped once again by our own units, which is somehow far more dangerous than enemy knightly charges. And there we go. I did say this battle would be quick because it's already over. The entire enemy army is routing. LOUEN's taking hits from the zap, and down he drops. The Knights are also going to get hit from the warp fires and stuff in the back, and they're all going to book it. Alright, oh, can't see anything because of the trees, though most of the enemy is dead at this point. I love this irradiated battlefield that we've got going here. I like how a lot of our stuff leaves residue everywhere. Nikari's ears just perked up. Alrighty, well, I guess we now just give chase to the enemy. We did take a few hits here, but a lot of our units that did take damage didn't lose a crazy amount of models. Plus, we're in our own territory, so the heal up should be just fine. And I do wonder if we would have taken less damage if we had slightly altered our deployment. I'm thinking there was a relatively clear fire lane back here, where we could have deployed here and just had our Jezzails work on the Knights, rather, together with our artillery, rather than having them fire on them immediately there. I was thinking that because Ikit had his Warp Storm scroll, the thing that gives him minus 45% speed, that would be sufficient to prevent the Knights perhaps from charging too much, but apparently not the case. Not a big deal, however, with the relatively little amount of damage that we took, we should be just fine, and next time, if we get this map again, we'll simply deploy a little bit further back and fire down this way, though that would probably allow some of the enemy army to escape. Anyway. Alrighty, well, we actually managed to take a little bit of damage this time, but mostly to our melee line, or quote-unquote our melee line, i.e. our warp fire throwers, and which is exactly what we have them in this army for, so not all that concerning. Damn, 308 kills on the Doombringers there, wow. Very impressive. Yeah, and I think the main reason that the enemy Knights were able to get through is I think that the Warplog Jezzails were a little bit mispositioned by standing all together, I think, in this one situation, and they should have essentially been standing apart so that they were focused on different groups of knights, rather than essentially obliterating 1 to 2 groups with their first volleys, but allowing a couple of other groups to make it through. More so the focus fire the issue than I think the enemy actually breaking through, generally speaking. Otherwise, we're okay. Now, we could heal up to full, but we are in our own territory, so it doesn't really matter. And alternatively, we could go for the 1,500 money. Do we need 1,500 money? Perhaps not, but there will be a lot of buildings to be building shortly, so on the other hand, why not? Especially if we're going to heal probably to full or close to it after this. And this doesn't help our Warlock Engineer, so yeah, money it is. Alright, then we'll auto-resolve that army, we'll heal up at the end turn, and let's see if Alaric attacks us. No, he was too afraid. Ooh, Talabecland got confederated. You were too afraid to attack us? No, you weren't. You actually sieged us. Ha. Okay. Somewhat unexpected. Ikit Claw has... Yay, 20% cavalry. A recruitment cost reduction. Isn't that just great? Breeder, we got tech researched, which is lovely. We got... Carry out a successful assassination against somebody all the way over here. Yeah, it's not gonna happen, but thanks for offering. Now, first of all, Ikit. Ooh.
Chief Warlock, Ikit Claw.
Okay, now that's interesting.
Master Engineer.
Then again, Grom the Paunch is probably gonna go for this. Would we want to do that, or would we want to just head towards Aquitaine faster? Because if Grom goes for this little army, that would work out better for us, I think.
Machinations.
The other alternative here was to put Ikit into March stance and then have Mutant go up. Now this would offer us about 20 food, most likely, judging by what we did with LOUEN, but it might mean that we would then not be able to beat Grom to Aquitaine and to Bordelot and whatever else is up here. If we are indeed going after all of these territories regardless of the High Elves, then perhaps it's a good reason to prioritize them.
My lady will not allow.
Alright, you know what? Let's take a risk. Let's have Ikit go after this, and let's hope that Grom does go after Brienne here. Nice little ambush. Auto-resolve this. Actually, our units didn't heal up as much as I thought they would, but they will from this. There we go. Enemy killed in battle. Our food's green now, though not the greenest of greens. Not Skaven green. And we'll ignore this, and then we'll stay in our own territory. And we'll head to Aquitaine next turn. And there's also a mysterious island there if we want to pick it up at some point. Let's put you into channeling stance. We'll head to Aquitaine after. I wonder if Sophia is going to try to defend it, but I somehow doubt it. Alrighty, and then Mutant, you... You know what? I doubt that they're going to attack, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this. And no. We are going to do... Yeah, actually, yes. Not no. We're gonna do that. And there we go. And we might move you to take Montfort or to defend Paravon. We'll see. It really depends on how the rest of our friends here act. Now, since we're going for the bonus control, I guess we're gonna go for Murder Dissenters right now. I was gonna skip it before, but right now it may be useful to us. And we'll have to wait until enormous caches and ensure product quality. We're definitely getting these, but considering how long they take to research, we'll get there in a little bit. Now, Scheif, you are able to reach this. Are you able to... Ooh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Balthazar Gelt is here. Oh, that's interesting. Scheif, you can't go to Fort Saul right now. Would Balthazar Gelt be able to reach us here? No. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, first of all, Morphic, we're gonna have you go here and siege Karak Hirn. Like so. Valiant defeat, yeah, that's fine. And we're gonna continue siege right now. And then we're gonna send Charge Lock right beside him. Technically, we'd actually want Charge Lock here, but, well, this is better than nothing. Mostly because Charge Lock has the Warp Grinders, which we could use to break through this a little bit quicker. The enemy also has cannonballs on the towers, which is also a little bit unfortunate. Maybe we wait a turn and then break the siege and then allow Charge Lock to siege so that the Warp Grinders are forward. Might be more beneficial to do it that way. It really depends on what map this is, though, because if it's a map with a choke point, it won't matter as much. Scheif, you're going to go to Fort Saul. And actually, what we could also do is swap them around. Send, for example, Scheif up there and just use the Warp Lightning Cannons. Alright, and then Scheif's in Fort Saul now to help defend this. I doubt Balthazar's Gelt's gonna try with all this artillery here, but you never know. he's perfectly welcome to do so. Now, let's move the rest of whoever we need to move, and then we'll fight Alaric. You are going to move up here. Cyprus, you are going to be the one that fights. And let's do building. And then we'll fight. Ekron, you can have your Overseer's Lookout. We have 3 turns remaining of materials at sea. Gotta keep making use of it as best we can. Yes, upgrade, and... No, I guess this was upgradable that we can't do right now. Oh, also we have 12 points on that warp fuel. Nice. Oh, huh. I do wonder if Brienne's gonna try to go for Brienne now. Brienne takes Brienne. Could be a possibility. Really would prefer not to have him keep Castle Carcassonne, but 49. It's really unlikely that he's gonna give it to us. But oh well, we'll see. Now, in terms of allegiance, ally missions, Claude, Sophia. Yeah, we're probably gonna go after Sophia. And then Disciples of the Maw, you have the same stuff, I assume. We have Gelt, Claude, Gottfried, Alaric. Yes, that's an easy completion. Wait, they're not... There we go. Alright, that should be pretty easy. Also, we now have this up and running. Do we want to spend the 4K to upgrade it? We're in a military alliance with you now, so we very well could, and it will increase our... 4K's a little bit steep, though. Not a big deal, though. Nah, you know what? I'll think about it. Either way, let's have Cyprus attack Alaric here. He is going to fight. It says it's a close defeat, but we'll see about that. Let's get a couple uses of Menace below. I mean, I'd really like to keep the food. 3 cost is a little bit on the steeper side, and we still need to somehow defeat those Quarrelers, which is basically going to be up to these 2 units, while the rest try to hold the line against the Dwarf Warriors. You know, let's go 3. We should get most of it back from the fight. And we'll do this cinematically as well, because it might be a difficult fight, which is always a fun time. Get to it. Alrighty, well, this should be a pretty interesting battle. Generally speaking, the smaller battles are pretty darn fun because we have to actually work for our victory. Plus, our lord is a relatively very much under-leveled lord, so we do have to be concerned about that as well. We also do have our emergency nuke still available, though once again I'd really prefer not to use it. Anyway, setup is pretty simple here. We are going to speed it up. We're going to move our Lord forward together with our Doom Wheel and our Ixtia's Triads. The purpose of this is to occasionally drop down a few Warp Lightnings and have the Doom Wheel use its ranged attacks to annoy the enemy. And though we are going to wait here for a few seconds while we get a few more Clan Rats into position back here, and to allow our power reserves to reach their maximum. Essentially, just so that we can keep casting and not have to worry about that. Essentially, if the enemy is going to stay still there, why not allow us to get all of our magics? Alright. And it looks like they're milling around, a little bit annoyed and probably a little bit confused, because now we have our Doom Wheel running around. The Ixtia's Triads are in stock, so they are hidden, but they will be able to get a decoy unit up and running fairly quickly if they'd like to. Our Lord is moving in with the hopes of dropping at least 1 cast of Warp Lightning in the middle of this blob, though it does look like the enemy units are moving away from it. The AI likes to run from these fairly quickly, but it does look like it took an okay amount of damage on a few of those units. So this Dwarf Warrior unit is, well, actually, no, it started hurt. Well, it's okay. We will wait until the enemy is blobbed up, because we're gonna send our whole army in. And there we go. Looks like at least partially... that was a nice Warp Lightning hit. That did quite a bit more damage. And yeah, so the idea was to try to peel some enemy units away. We've summoned our decoy triad, so this is the fake unit, while we're sending our real unit around this way to flank the enemy. Between the decoy, our lord, and the Doom Wheel, we should be able to damage this isolated group fairly quickly. The other group appears to be chasing this Clan Rat unit and this Clan Rat unit. I was hoping to peel away just 2 units for that, but it looks like it's working quite a bit better, as the enemy army is essentially split in half. Now the rest of our Skaven Skaven slaves and our clan rats are moving in, but the damage will be coming from our Doom Wheel and the Lord. And oh, this Doom Wheel does like regular colored lightning attacks, not warp lightning. Huh. I don't like it. It looks strange. The non-green lightning. I wonder what the lore is behind this particular Doom Wheel, why it's using regular plasma / electricity to do this sort of thing. Interesting though. Alrighty, well, our Ixis Triads are engaged and our Doom Wheel's moving through the enemy. Looks like an enemy Dwarf Warrior unit is already pretty badly damaged, and we summoned a unit of Clan Rats on top of the enemy via the Menace below to hit them in the back as well. The decoy, as always, coming in real handy. And hopefully the Doom Wheel annoys enough enemies with its splash damage. There we go. What I wouldn't give to see the spikes on the Doom Wheels actually impale units. It would be pretty great. Our Lord is also fighting in the middle of this, but we did give him that armor to buff him up if he gets himself in trouble, and if he forces the enemies to move around him while the rest of our army moves in. Well, let's just say that works perfectly fine. There we go. Very nice, and that's cleared up a pathway, and our army is now properly engaged. As for the other units, it looks like we managed to peel away one Quarreler unit who's going after this Clan Rat unit, and an enemy Runesmith who is going to be fighting this unit of Clan Rats here as well. This certainly works out, and we should be able to isolate and kill that Quarreler blob with a use of our Menace below as soon as it's not needed here. Otherwise, it looks like the enemies that got attacked by our Doom Wheel, our Lord, and the Ixis Triads are in pretty bad shape, with 2 units running and the other 3 at half HP or below, and probably about to take damage from the Ixis Triads, who are finally moving in to hit them in the back. Here comes another use of Menace below to try to silence the enemy Quarrelers. And there we are. Yeah, this, I'm glad that we did take the Menace below here rather than leaving it as it was, as it's clearly coming in pretty handy, regardless of the fact that we do need the food. Clan Rats and Skaven Slaves holding the line against some Dwarf Warriors here. These Dwarf Warriors are the unshielded kind, so they should be taking an okay amount of damage from the Skaven Slave Slingers. We've also popped down, just take a look at the HP of these 2 units, the Clanstone, the Skryre Clanstone, as well as popping a single use of Warp Lightning right in the middle of this blob here. And that one use, with the reduction, or the spell resistance reduction from the Clanstone, basically allows us to do more than half HP unit, more than half HP damage to this unit of Dwarf Warriors here, and a decent amount to these ones as well. Quite a nice combo, I gotta say. If we had more spells available to us, we probably could have just destroyed these units fairly easily. But yeah, now it looks like we have the enemy quite outnumbered. The Dwarf Warriors are surrounded here. They're all basically dead over on this side, where the Doom Wheel and the Lord have been working on him, and another Warp Lightning should make him die. There's a Fireball coming out from that Ruby Ring of Ruin as well. Doom Wheel's going to charge into the back of these units here, or it's going to turn... Nope. I bamboozled myself. No, it's going to turn around and charge these. Oh, because we wanted to get another use of our Warp Lightning, which forces both of these units to waver. Makes sense to me. If the Doom Wheel had moved in, it would have knocked them around, and thus they wouldn't have been so blobbed up. Looks like the Quarrelers here got attacked by the Ixis Triads after the use of the Dwellers Below. No, not the Dwellers Below. The Menace Below was expended, and now the Ixis Triad should be able to destroy them and then move in to kill these miners and these Dwarf Warriors by hitting them in the back. Certainly looks like it's working. The balance of power is now in our favor at about 60%, and the enemy's lost about half of their units. What the heck were you aiming there, Doom Wheel? Alright, Doom Wheel's given chase to some enemies that are running, and yeah, at this point it's just break the units and then force them to run away. Looks like our Lord has led our Clan Rats and Skaven Slaves to victory over on this side, as most of the enemy units seem to be breaking, and will be giving chase to those that we can. Still getting some damage into the enemies from our Skaven Slave Slingers, where the last of the enemies are trying to take out these 2 units of Clan Rat Spears, but apparently failing to do so. Alright, good job, Clan Rats, or Skaven Slave Slingers in this particular situation, but good job, everybody. Our clan rats didn't rout nearly as quickly as I thought they would, and the battle should be just about over. Yes, the balance of power is still only about 70 or 65% in our favor, but the rest of the enemy units, here's these Quarlers, another menace below has summoned on top of them, and the clan rats are now moving into them, though they have taken some volleys right before they close the distance. Looks like the enemy Runesmith actually is about on par with the clan rats here, but the clan rats are winning, which is kind of interesting. Still managing to do enough damage despite the heavy armor on that Runesmith. Otherwise, we got units that are shattered and routing all over the place. The enemy Lord is still alive, but I do think that he should rout as soon as the rest of these remaining units are gone, which should be fairly quick. Here's another Warp Lightning coming down on the holdouts here, the miners and the warriors with great axes that have been fighting the clan rats and the Skaven slave spears. Or actually, the Skaven slave slingers, rather. But they won't be fighting much longer. Just enjoying the show a little bit as the rest of the battle is pretty much done. There go the warriors, the miners are routing. Everybody, I think, is wavering now, and it will be just the Lord and the Runesmith left very shortly. Warlords might still be fighting, and just a tiny unit of Dwarf Warriors remaining, and there we go. There's the chain route. The enemy Lord breaks. Ooh, nice attack there, buddy. You look pretty happy about that. Damn, I'm actually surprised that the Warlock Masters can leap around with that huge backpack on their back. And the Doom Wheel kind of knocks them over. Pretty great. How much damage did the Doom Wheel do? 120 kills, which is pretty damn decent, and nearly 11,000 damage. I would assume the second highest value after our Lord, which was obviously doing a lot of damage with all those Warp Lightnings. Yeah, makes it very useful to get a level 1 Lord with that particular spammable armor-piercing spell. Lovely. Well, now it's just a matter of giving chase to the enemy units, but I do believe this is the one and only army belonging to Karak Hirn, so this should pretty much break the faction as soon as we take Karak Hirn, the territory itself. We are giving chase to the Lord as well, but that, as we've learned in previous battles, is fairly tough, so what we're going to do is essentially force the Doom Wheel around to go in front of it, and then knock him back repeatedly, allowing the Ixchus Triads and our own Lord to attack him. The Ixchus Triads obviously applying that Weeping Blade, and every knockback just keeping him further from the edge of the map. And there we go. He should be just about done here. Wherever he is. Oh, there he is. Oh, you just you missed there, buddy, and it looks like he drops, I guess, one of the Ixchus Triads. Finally got the kill. Well done, everybody. And it was a close victory, but this was a temporary army that's immediately going to get deleted now that we don't have to worry about this territory. Beautiful. Alrighty, perfect. We basically destroyed the army completely, got a little bit of money, we got our food back, a free banner of swiftness as well. Do Doom Wheels have Strider, I wonder? Oh, yeah, this seems like it might be useful for a Doom Wheel, possibly. We'll see. Well, no, Ikit needs his Lichbone Pennant, doesn't he? And I guess we'll sell them off rather than getting the 2 food. We did have to use all of our Menace Belows, though, so I do think that 3 was probably the perfect amount for this particular army. Sell them off, and then we will give chase to you. And destroy your army for good, and thereafter delete Cyprus, and then not have to pay all that much money. Alright, take you out. Perfect. And, ooh, a free Power Stone, not bad. And then this time... Wait, did I go heal, or did I don't remember what I did. It doesn't really matter. And now, well, assuming that these guys don't immediately declare war on us, and I do expect that they will eventually, but for now I think we don't need you. So, lose those items, because we'll be giving them to somebody who can actually use them, and we'll delete all this. And we're back up to 5.3k per turn money. Very nice, very nice. We gotta keep it balanced so that we can continue building stuff up. Now we got 3 turns, 2 turns, 3 turns and 3 turns. Okay, so only Miragliana will need to switch in 2 turns. Just gotta remember that. Then we have the Siege of Karak Hirn, but I feel like we keep the siege up and running. Can we win this? I have no doubt that we can, but with the Cannonball Towers up and running, I feel like there's a better way to do it. And that better way involves either the Warp Grinders or, once again, the Warp Lightning Cannons, though we'll see. The Warp Lightning Cannons, I believe, should outrange the Dwarfen Towers, unless I'm mistaken. Just in case, let's build the Ram, although I don't believe we'll be needing it, but just for fun. You never know. What if Charge Lock has to go away somewhere for some bizarre reason? The possibility exists. Anyway, I believe with that, we're ready to once again end the turn. I don't believe anybody can attack us, and we're also very quickly running out of time in this episode. So let's do this. I'd be curious to see what Grom does, and whether Brienne attacks Mutant. In fact, in case she does, though somehow I doubt it, let's do that. Alrighty, and yeah, there's no way. Even with a full stack, even with all those questing knights and stuff, there's no way. We have a warp bomb, we have a nearly full garrison, some very solid regiments of renown here. I really, really doubt it. But let's find out for sure. Alright, Grom, I believe in you, buddy. Go after Brienne for us. Or honestly, if Brienne attacks us, I would actually kind of prefer that. Ooh, we found ourselves a Clan Moors. Who wants a non-aggression pact? Well, isn't that just lovely? What about the trade agreement? 6,000 gold? Damn. That's a little bit on the expensive side. Yes, it would pay for itself in exactly 10 turns, but I feel like this will increase our relationship to the point that it'll be cheaper to do the trade agreement anyway. So let's do that, and then in like 3 or 4 turns we'll ask again, and it'll probably be a much more likely. Ooh, looks like Carl wants to be attacking us, which is perfectly fine. I do have to wonder if he has a full stack here somewhere, but I guess we'll see. And we should also take another look at our undercities as well. Alrighty, and it looks like Brienne got killed by Grom, which is what we were banking on, and which we went towards Aquitaine for, so that worked out as well. Beautiful. Okay, Mutant gets controlled, though that doesn't matter for us. Mutant, you can go up to Paravent, and we could potentially attack Montfort. Especially if Grom's coming here. Oh wow, he got badly hurt for this. But not while taking Carcassonne. Please give us Carcassonne. 49. Man, what can we possibly offer him? The thing is, we'd essentially need to have him get another territory and then offer him something. I don't know. Or, you know, later on betray him. Or build another city at Carcassonne and then explode it. I assume that doesn't declare war, but if anybody knows, would destroying an ally's settlement with that just force them to declare war on us? It would be pretty interesting if it did. Also, it feels like it's been a while since our undercities have spread. Okay, well, actually, Castle Alexandrinov does have a spread undercity. Actually, if it could go north of the Tower of Karak and stuff, that would be really great, because we were going to get undercities going there anyway. Yeah. Might as well build a subterranean mining pit here, as well as the scavenger raiders, as well as the deeper tunnels. And we'll see about other stuff later. Erengrad, you probably should continue building up the rat keepers. And I beg you remember, what it's showing about the settlement's income gain is bugged, right? Like, it's not actually what it's showing. It's not actually 27, it's something else, I think. It can't possibly be only giving us 27. We have 1,200 under Empire income, and we only, I believe, have 1 plus 400 pointer, right? In Castle Drakenhof, right? Wait. Yeah, we have a plus 200, so we're getting 200 from you. And I don't think we're getting anything else. Everything else is from this, so yeah, it's definitely bugged. Actually, this is 200. So we'd be getting 400 base, and then the rest of the Under Empire income has to be from the percentage-based type. So, in that light, I guess we can upgrade you. Expensive though you may be. And we'll have to do the same thing at Castle Drakenhof as well, though do we need to do so right now is the question. Oh, look, they've taken Zufbar. Good job to them. And Thorgrim is here. So if he takes Akendorf and Karak Asgaraz, then we push out this way and start taking their stuff. Anyway, let's have a quick auto-resolve, I think, at Aquitaine, though that does put us in potential danger of getting attacked by these guys. Somehow I doubt it. To Aquitaine we go. And we should be... Ooh. We go to Bordelot as well. I guess we sack it, although it's basically not even worth sacking. But nonetheless. And we're going to take it at level 1 because there's a good chance that we lose it shortly. Auto-resolve this, and... Were you... I mean, you were still hurt, but still, damn. And then sack the place. Oh, it was sacked recently. Fair enough. And mechanics, siege towers +1 per siege item constructed. Useful, but probably only for our warlord or something like that. And then you can occupy it at tier 1. We'll keep the food for Bordelot. If we're going to... Hey, there's that short victory achieved. We were waiting for that. Recruit rank +3 all ranks. Also, factions encountered. Please don't tell me the elves can see us. Now it's just Moors and Crooked Moon. And in fact, let's take a quick look at diplomacy. And, oh, non-aggression pact with Azazel. Ah, why not? He's pretty far away from us. He likes Clan Molder, which doesn't make sense. Good. Do that. And Bloody Hands, still gonna be a no from me. Clan Moors, there's that trade agreement that we wanted. And, it looks like Wintertooth wants it as well. Wintertooth feels okay about us, but Moors is more critical, I think, because obviously we want to confederate them at some point. So let's do this. Let's ask for 2k, nice. I wonder how weak they are. Out of curiosity. Oh, Wintertooth still wants the trade. Very nice. And non-aggression as well. Beautiful. Okay, our diplomacy is taking a turn for the good, I guess. Goramadni tribe. You're fighting Clan Ferric. You'd be willing to... You know what, let's do a trade agreement with them.
Compel me to kill, but I
don't really think that we need the non-aggression pact and stuff necessarily, although it might make Wintertooth happier with us. I wonder who owns Karak. Karak Valag is the territory that vassalizes Goramadni tribe, doesn't it? But I guess it's owned by Skaven right now. Now, let's just go non-aggression... no, you know, screw the non-aggression pact, let's just do max money.
Yes.
These guys are going to become somebody's vassal anyway, shortly probably, so it's going to... that's going to go away. Now, just out of curiosity, I just want to briefly check. If we take a look at Clan Moors... 135 for Confederation, and Molder is 68. Okay, that's a lot better. How many territories? They have 1. Oh no, please. Please don't die. Okay, if Throt dies, I will download the Defeat Recruited Legendary Lords mod, because, yeah, that's just too unfortunate. I don't know how he managed to lose Helpit so early, but, yeah. If he dies, we're bringing him back. Anyway, with that, unfortunately, I do believe we're out of time, and I am going to have to call the episode here. Next time, we probably move towards Montfort with Mutin here. And, well, at least briefly, and then Ikit's most likely going to go briefly to Baston just to get rid of the armies here, and then on to Bordelot, and to continue taking Bretonnian territories. Once again, I wasn't originally thinking that we would go up to Bretonnia, but since we're here, we might as well take their stuff. I also really want to send some armies down to the desert. There's a lot of factions here that dislike us, and they will probably declare war on us eventually, so as soon as we retrofit a few more territories, well... we build up a few more territories, rather. We will make a new army and send it down there. Maybe it'll be Shife's army with a bunch of Plague Priests, as since Miragliano is hitting tier 5, maybe we build a Plague Priest building there and set that up. Anyway, as I said, calling it here, lots of battles to come, including Karak Hirn and next time and whatever else Ikit gets up to, so stay tuned for it. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.